You are listening to Wedding and Event Insider. This is Michelle Twerberg. Today's guest has clients all over the country and shares about the ones that she sees as heroes in her path.
I already had a number of clients. I already had a lot of stuff that really worked for me because I'm a very risk-averse person. But I watch clients all the time who are just jumping into things, and I find it really inspiring.
Our guest with us today is one of those business services that provides really time and freedom and allowing her clients to breathe a sigh of relief oftentimes when they know that they have a professional that's looking over their finances, keeping them on track, and providing them with excellent bookkeeping services. We have with us here today, welcome Laura Adler with Adler Financial. Laura, can you tell me about your services and the business that you have?
Absolutely. I do general bookkeeping, which can be anywhere from getting someone up and running with a customized bookkeeping system for their business, to really fully managing their books, which would be, categorizing transactions and reconciling accounts, paying sales and payroll taxes, sending out 1099s, all of that kind of thing. I also work with clients sort of a little bit beyond bookkeeping in setting up systems to really streamline their work processes. I can help them find software that really works for what they're doing, and then make sure that all the software really talks to each other, so you're not repeating entering information and that type of thing.
Oh my gosh, you do all the things that I don't like to do as far as running a business goes.
Yes.
I mean, just I can see where it's just like I've heard some of the testimonials for you, and I've know actually some of the people that have testimonials on your website too, and I was taking a peek at that too, and it's so true as far as when the services that you provide, as far as it lets the business owner focus on what they love to do in their business. And I can see that even for myself too. It's just like where we put off some of that bookkeeping and the things that that detail work, but it's so important for us to have that done and have it done well, and just to be able to be confident that that stuff's being taken care of. And I know that your services, I know there's a lot of people that I actually personally know that are your clients that actually are very happy with your services and what you provide. But I think that peace of mind and then taking care of that side of the business is a big relief for a lot of people.
Absolutely. I see so many really talented, creative people that just feel really frustrated dealing with the numbers and trying to keep up with the day-to-day sort of record keeping that you have to do as a business owner. It's just not where their interests lie, and it's not where they've got a lot of confidence in dealing with that stuff. But, there are ways to really automate a lot of that and help make it easier, or you can outsource it. You don't have to be one of those real numbers people who likes to enter all that data and that kind of thing to be a successful business owner. And it's an area that I'm really good at, and embarrassingly I really kind of get a thrill when all those numbers line up just right. I really like it. It gives me a real sense of satisfaction. But I know a lot of people just find they just want to tear their hair out with it, and I totally get that too.
Right. Yep, I'm one of those on that side of the fence where it's like, yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to look at the numbers.
Exactly.
I don't want to take care of that stuff. Well, gosh, so what inspired you to start your business?
Well, so I have a good friend, Gretchen Culver, who has rocket science events, and I've been helping her with events and all of that since before she really even had rocket science, so more than 10 years. But a couple of years into really helping her out, assisting her, working with her within her business, I sort of saw what she was doing with her books and how much trouble she was having with it, especially when it came time for tax time. She had a QuickBooks set up, but she just sort of didn't do a lot with it until it was time that she really needed that. It always just got to the bottom of the pile of things to do. And so at tax time, I watched her trying to recreate a year's worth of bookkeeping. And I said, I think I can just help you with this. And it turns out that I'm really good at it. So yeah. I started doing her books for her, all these many years ago. And just sort of slowly started adding on some other friends who had their own businesses and needed bookkeeping help, and really saw where I had some skills in this and I could really help people. So my experience and interest in the event and creative fields, combined with the bookkeeping skills that I do have, really just made this seem like a good fit and something that would be a really good service to put out there.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And now a quick word from our sponsor. I'm Michelle Twerberg. I got to tell you about Studio Vale. They have been in business servicing the Twin Cities area since 2005. For weddings and corporate events, they are a multi-service company. They provide photography, videography, DJ, audio, rentals, photo booth, and even this really cool Twin Cities photo bus that you might see rolling around town. It's a 1973 VW van that's been converted into a photo bus. They have a 3,500 square foot studio space in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Check them out at studiovale.com, studiovale, VEIL.com. And now back to our show. And I love how it is when so many small businesses start, because we are doing something that we know can help somebody else, and then we find out it's like, and especially with their feedback too, a lot of times it's just like, you know what, you're really good at this, you should actually do this for a business. And then I love it when it then launches into something more like that. Yeah, that is so cool.
And I really like helping people learn how to do this stuff too, and sort of learn more of what it can do for their business, because you just you get a better understanding of what's happening in your business and what sort of decisions you can make as well, once you've got this sort of base information down and you can really look at it.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. That is, you're just giving people tools. Sounds like, yeah, it's like they can do as much or as little as they want, as far as what your services offer, which I think is so nice, for people to be able to choose like how much of it they want to continue to, I've heard you, talk about just like, teaching. I can teach you how to do some of this stuff and you can manage as much as you want, or if you'd like to turn it over, you can have a lot of it turned over too. So that is so nice. Well, gosh, so you've been in business for a while. Do you have a favorite story, or maybe there's a fun or unexpected story that you could share with us maybe?
Well, unfortunately, when it's something is fun or unexpected, and for me in my business, it's usually bad news for someone else. So
yes.
I don't really have a ton of that. No. I really love learning about other people's businesses. That's sort of the most fun that I have with this, is the different kinds of businesses people have and how they run them.
Yes.
I have a client that I got this year who is so smart about all of her business stuff and has really built a really interesting business model with what she does, which involves food preparation for clients. And she's so great at it, and she's so smart, and she's been, she's pivoted during this COVID stuff, and she's really just been doing a lot of great stuff, but she is so frustrated with the bookkeeping part of it. And it's been really interesting to work with her and to just sort of say, you're great at what you're doing and you have a deep understanding of the finances of your business. So please just hand this day-to-day stuff over to me. Just let me do that so you can get that off your plate. Don't feel like a bad business owner because you're not in those teeny tiny numbers every day. Just let that part, spend your time somewhere else where it makes more sense for you.
Oh, I think that's so good. I really, the services that you provide, I mean, as for me, I can see it be, it's just that big sigh of relief of not having to worry about that details that I keep putting off to the very end of when I absolutely have to do it. I very much fall into that same category as the person you talked about that helped you start your business, where it's like, okay, at tax time, I'm going to recreate and do all I need to do. It is, I think there's a lot of us in that boat. That do that because we're, the creative minds is not wanting to wrap them around the numbers. And what you provide here is definitely letting it run more efficiently with less work for the business owner, and let them focus on what they like to do for their business, and then being confident that knowing that they're, that it's being taken care of, and that it's manageable and understandable, and they can go forward. So I think you give them a lot of time and freedom to pursue what they need to do, and not being bogged down with what they consider, especially the people that are numbers people and enjoy that sort of thing. It's just like, oh my goodness, it's so, you can like untangle that mess of paperwork where we're just sitting at it going, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to go through this.
Before I started this business, I worked in local government for over a decade, and I was involved in environmental stuff. So I was dealing with trying to make sure we had clean lakes and creeks and ponds and all of that sort of stuff. But for whatever reason, that type of work always sort of lands in the engineering department.
Yeah.
And I'm not an engineer, but I like to say that I was sort of like an engineer whisperer. I could communicate really clearly between those really numbers people, which are the engineers, and then the folks that were not so much the public or the people who were far more environmentally minded. So that's a really comfortable role for me, which is, sort of translating between the numbers and the non-numbers folks.
Right. Right. Oh, goodness. That is so cool. Well, I love kind of getting to know you a little bit more too, and having our listeners know you too. So I have like a random question to ask you.
Sure.
So who would you say is your favorite hero and why?
That's so hard. That's so tough for me, because there's so many people who could really fill that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of answer that more generally, and it's going to sound kind of suck-uppy, I think, but really it's these people who are starting their own business, who are starting it and are just, they're going for it. They have a dream for whatever it is that they want to do, and they are willing to just jump in and do it. And I find it really inspiring. I didn't really start my own business here doing bookkeeping until I already had a number of clients. I already had a lot of stuff that really worked for me because I'm a very risk averse person. But I watch clients all the time who are just jumping into things, and I find it really inspiring and really amazing. And especially when they just find these wild successes.
I just love that. I think that is so cool. I love those everyday heroes and the stories that we hear, and people that, jumping into business and going, some of them, they feel like they're taking a leap of faith,
Yeah.
to go and pursue something that they really want to do. And they're leaving a secure, type of a job, and then just pursuing that something else that they just have a passion for and a purpose and wanting to share with the world. So I would agree with you that those are some great heroes to have in your life. Well, goodness, is there anything else that you would like our listeners to know, Laura?
I just again, I like learning about businesses, and I like helping people, and I love to talk. I'm always up for coffee or a Zoom meet to chat about your business and see if there's a way that I can help you out with things, or really just to kind of learn about what you're doing, because that's really interesting to me, and that really helps me do my job better for all my clients, is when I have more information on how people are doing things. So I'm always willing to chat. Anybody can sort of send me an email. I'm happy to answer questions. I know that there are a lot of folks who have even things that seem like really small questions that they just would like an answer on, and I'm happy to try to help out with that too.
Oh, that's perfect. And I think if I've read this correctly too, it's not just Minnesota, right? You can actually service clients all over the U.S. That might be interested in having a bookkeeper that they can get in touch with. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have clients who are in Seattle, Chicago, New York, and then a couple of other sort of smaller areas throughout the country as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So, I'm lucky enough to be able to do everything fully remote. And there's a lot of ways to really communicate and share information that don't rely on being in the same state. So yeah, I love working with people all over.
Oh, that's wonderful. You can find out more about Laura with Adler Financial at adler.financial, ADLER.financial. Take a look at her website, the testimonials and the services that she provides. Also, we would love to invite our listeners to connect and collaborate with Twin Cities Wedding and Event Professionals at tcwep.com. Sign up for the e-newsletters and be up to date on all the upcoming events, both virtually and in-person events. Thank you so much for listening.